Once upon a time, a robin redbreast and his mate lived in the hedge of an old meadow. Every spring they built their nest together. Every morning they greeted the dawn with song. Life was not perfect, but it was familiar, and they shared its joys and hardships side by side. Then came a season of storms. The first storm tore half their nest away. The second flooded the meadow below. The third raged through the night with such violence that the robin spent hours clinging to a branch, certain he would be blown into the darkness. When morning finally arrived, he looked over the battered countryside and felt weary in his heart. There must be a better place than this, he thought. A place where storms never came. A place where life was peaceful. The idea settled deep within him. As the days passed, it grew stronger. One evening he shared it with his mate. She listened quietly. "And if you find such a place," she asked, "then I'll never have to live in fear again," he replied. His mate looked toward the horizon. "I don't know if such a place exists," but the robin had already made up his mind. A few days later, he spread his wings and flew away. He crossed forests where hawks circled overhead. He crossed marshes wrapped in cold mist. He followed rivers through valleys and rode the vines over rocky cliffs. Everywhere he went, he found birds facing struggles of their own. Yet he kept searching. Months passed. Then a year. The robin became stronger and wiser, but no closer to the peace he longed for. One autumn evening he overheard a flock of migrating birds talking. Far beyond the sea, they said, lay a beautiful island. No predators. No hunters. No danger. Robin's heart leaped. Surely this was the place he had been seeking. The very next morning he set out across the ocean. At first, the journey went well. The wind carried him steadily over the water. Then the sky darkened. A fierce storm swept in from the horizon. The sea roared below him. Rain battered his wings. Lightning flashed through the clouds. Robin fought desperately to stay aloft, but each gust seemed stronger than the last. For the first time in his life, he believed he might never see land again. Then, through the rain, he spotted a distant shoreline. With the last of his strength, he reached it and collapsed. When he awoke, the storm had passed. The island was beautiful. Flowers covered the hillsides. Crystal streams wound through green valleys. The air was quiet and still. No predators appeared. No danger threatened. Robin could hardly believe his good fortune. At last, he had found the place he had dreamed about for so long. Weeks turned into months. Yet slowly, something unexpected happened. The island remained peaceful, but he did not. Each sunrise seemed less beautiful than the one before. Each evening felt strangely empty. There was no familiar voice answering his song. No companion beside him when darkness fell. One evening he landed on a cliff overlooking the sea. The sunset painted the water in gold and crimson. It was the most beautiful sight he had ever seen. Yet a deep sadness settled over him. He wished someone else were there to see it. For the first time in many months, he thought of home. He remembered the old hedge, the meadow after rain, the nest they had built together. Most of all, he remembered his mate. Suddenly the island felt very small. That night dark clouds gathered on the horizon. The wind began to rise. The robin stared in disbelief. Another storm? Even here? Soon thunder rolled across the sky. Rain lashed the island. Trees bent under the force of the wind. Sheltering beneath a rocky ledge, the robin watched the storm rage around him. And then a realization came. He had crossed forests, rivers, cliffs, an ocean searching for a place without storms. But storms existed everywhere. No island, no forest, no corner of the world could keep them away forever. He had spent years chasing something that did not exist. And in doing so, he had left behind the one thing that had made every storm easier to bear. When dawn finally broke, Robin rose into the clear morning sky. This time he was not searching for a better place. He was going home. Days later, the familiar meadow appeared below. The old hedge still stood. The field stretched beneath the evening sun. And there, perched on a branch, sat his mate. As she saw him flying toward her, she became very happy. Robin came and sat with her on the branch. He felt a peace greater than anything he had found on the distant island. Not because life would now be free of storms. He knew better than that. Storms would come again. Winds would howl again. Nests would sometimes break. But he had finally discovered what he had been seeking all along. Peace is not found in a place where troubles never come. Peace is found beside those who remain true to one another when troubles do come. And as the two robins watched the sunset together, the world seemed calmer than it had ever been before. Thanks for your patience in watching the video. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel. Raj Rishi.